Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakwe Banjo. We begin at this hour with the closure of the third mainland bridge in Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. Authorities have announced that the bridge would be closed for investigative maintenance starting Friday till Sunday. And it seems that even before midnight, the processes and plans were already in place. Plus TV Africa was on the bridge at 11:45 p.m. last night, 15 minutes before the bridge was to close. And these are the images at that time of the day. Officials, including LASMA, FRSC and the consulting engineers, exchanging information and being briefed about the route diversion. Managing traffic. Managing traffic and alternative routes seems easiest said than done. This morning, these are the first images of Lagos and the situation report from Plus TV Africa staff across many parts of Lagos seems unanimous. The gridlock has kept commuters at a standstill for over 1 hour across many routes which had been earmarked as alternative passages to ease the closure of the third mainland bridge. These are pictures shot by our colleagues as they made their way to Victoria Island from Yaba and across Ikorodu Road. Many commuters abandoned their vehicles and began the long trek to get to their destinations at 7:35 a.m. this morning. Traffic managers were not sighted along the Oyinbo-Yaba stretch. An eyewitness report saw only one LASMA official and was spotted on the close to the Echo Bridge. Third Mainland Bridge is illuminated, warning commuters of the closure. And on Akin Adeshola Street, Victoria Island, motorists are again reminded of the closure of the Third Mainland Bridge. Another eyewitness report from one of our team members sent in moments ago suggests that there is movement on Echo Bridge with traffic conditions better. Moving away from the third mainland bridge closure as the Eid el Kabir celebration has come to an end, there are expectations on the impact of transportation and market prices. Our correspondent Susan Jasper gives a report on the aftermath of the celebration.
It is a day after the Salah celebrations. This is Jibowu Motor Park, travelers' destination to most parts of Nigeria, with an average of 3 buses per day. After the holidays, it would appear that activities are off to a slow start, as it would indicate that most people have not come back from the holidays.
2 weeks, a week after the celebration, you see people coming back.
It is expected that most of the bus parks will be full of people returning to their jobs and businesses. This, however, was not the case, as it was rather empty.
So not that they did not travel, but to compare formerly, maybe we load 2 vehicles, but this time around, we managed to load 1.
Business at the market was not left out from the impact of the celebration.
Seems to be business as usual at the popular Oyinbo market here in Lagos, just after the Salah celebration. All around me, we have sellers of produce and buyers who have come back to the market. Some complain of hike in price, while others complained of low turnout of customers.
This is Ayin Samuel. He says this year, business was not as productive as the previous ones.
Now, a rubber paint of melon should be something like 1,200 naira, but we are still selling at the rate of 2,000 naira. I should say that the festive period have even contributed.
Sukirat, on the other hand, says that the price of her rice and gari dropped.
The price is normal. It's not going up. Especially this rice, we are buying 14,000 before. Now we are buying 12,800. This gari, we are buying 11,000 before. Now we buy 10,500. They are dropping small money.
While Elizabeth, a buyer, feels nothing has changed.
Same. Like I just bought gari now, and initially I do buy it 450, 400, and it's still the same. It didn't really go up.
as the celebration has come to an end, it is hoped by many people that the market sales will return to normalcy and prices will drop. Susan Jasper, Plus TV Africa.
Thanks, Susan. The Parliamentary Democrats group, a group in the House of Representatives, has warned the APC lawmakers in the lower legislative chamber against an alleged move to remove Yakubu Dogara as Speaker. In a statement on Thursday, Timothy Golu, a lawmaker from Plateau and spokesman of the group, said any attempt to oust Mr. Dogara would be met with fire. We believe that it is the aftermath of the gale of defections that had hit the APC in recent times, of which more are being expected that is affecting the members. The immediate past National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Mallam Bala Abdullah, has joined the governorship race in Kwara State. He will run under the People's Democratic Party and may likely get the ticket considering his closeness to the Senate President Bukola Saraki, the leader of the party in the state. Mr. Abdullahi will seek to succeed incumbent two-term governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed. Dr. Muhyiddin Akorede, his senior special assistant on media, announced Abdullahi's declaration of intent to contest next year. The committee has Kasim Afegbua and Kola Ologbodiyan, spokesman of the PDP, as members. Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, has proposed a single term of 6 years for governors and presidents. He said nations across the world had adopted the single-term presidency until their democracies were matured enough to transit to other options. He added that the proposal, which had been shared during the Constitution Amendment exercise in the 7th National Assembly, wasn't well received. No fewer than 8 persons have died while 12 others sustained injuries in a motor accident that occurred at Nabordo village along Bauchi-Jos Expressway. Confirming the incident yesterday, Bauchi State Head of Operations, Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Paul Gua, said the accident happened at about 9:16 p.m. on Tuesday, the 21st of August 2018, as a result of overspeeding. Mr. Gua said the accident involved an 18-seater Hiace bus heading to Bauchi from another state and a trailer coming from Bauchi, noting that the two vehicles collided head-on at a village called Nabordo, close to Toro local government area of the state. An Ondo State High Court in Akure on Thursday sentenced 7 men to death for armed robbery and killing of a US-based businessman, Banji Adafi. Mr. Adafi was said to be on vacation in Nigeria in July last year when the gunmen gained entrance into his home in Akure and killed him. The convicts include Jimo Sadiq, also known as Akamo, Blessing Ogunlade, Yomi Balogun, also known as Regal, Oluwaseun Oluwa Ola, also known as Inyon, and Akim Adedayo, Osho John Omoni, also known as Bosco, and Sadiq Babatunde. They were found guilty of armed robbery, conspiracy to commit murder, and illegal possession of firearms. However, Jimo Sadiq, who actually shot Mr. Adafin to death, was convicted of murder, contrary to and punishable under the laws of Ondo State of Nigeria. Following the death of 4 of the intelligence response team operatives who were ambushed on the 11th of August at Jankansa village of Regassa in Igabi local government area in Kaduna State, Acting Commissioner of Police, DCP Ahmad Kontagora, disclosed at a news conference on Thursday that its men killed 2 suspected killers of the intelligence response team. He said the police, since the incident, had embarked on an intensive manhunt of the perpetrators and other cases of crime within the command to arrest and bringing all the culprits to book. We'll take a quick break. Stay tuned for more news when we return. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has said no fewer than 103 cases of Ebola have been reported in the Democratic Republic of Congo. OCHA said the figures include 76 confirmed and 27 probables, including 61 deaths as at Tuesday this week. Suspected new cases continue to emerge in Mabalako and Oicha areas of North Kivu, according to the UN Relief Wing. It said new alerts were under investigation in 3 more provinces, Mongala, Haut-Uele and Haut-Katanga. Since the 8th of August, more than 2,000 people have been vaccinated. Mr. Sentamu, who was arrested and charged earlier this month with illegally possessing firearms, saw that military tribunal case dropped on Thursday, moments before a civilian court charged him with treason. The new case is expected to spark anger in Uganda, especially since Mr. Sentamu has said he was beaten while in custody. Sentamu's lawyer asked the magistrate to order his remand to a health facility. The magistrate ruled that Sentamu should be allowed access to his own physicians. He was remanded until the 30th of August. Discussions on unresolved issues delaying the South Sudan peace agreement will resume on Monday in Khartoum after a 5-day break to celebrate Eid al-Adha festivities. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Al-Diadiri Al-Dikeri, who is also the chief negotiator, had said the discussions would be concluded by Sunday, but the Intergovernmental Authority on Development insists the talks had to be deferred. In a statement issued by IGAD, the warring parties and a coalition of other political parties say they remain committed to full implementation of the revitalized agreement that we expect to conclude and renew our quest for a united, peaceful and prosperous society based on justice, equality, respect for human rights and the rule of law. When we return, we'll be bringing you more news updates and much more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. On the foreign scene, finance ministers and officials from Japan and China are to meet in Beijing on the 31st of August. A Japanese official said a sign of improving ties amid Sino-US trade tensions. Japanese Finance Minister Taro Aso and Chinese counterpart Liu Kun are expected to discuss financial cooperation, including reviving a dormant currency swap arrangement. Japan and China have begun discussing a resumption of the arrangement, which means a swap worth about 3 trillion yen, far bigger than the previous $3 billion line. Mr. Aso, who also serves as Deputy Prime Minister, may meet separately with Chinese Vice Premier Liu He, who is in charge of trade talks with Washington. That suggests the two sides may discuss trade tensions with the United States and how trade protectionism threatens global economic growth, a shared concern amongst G20 economic powers. Scott Morrison is to be Australia's new Prime Minister after Malcolm Turnbull was forced out by party rivals in a bruising leadership contest. Mr. Turnbull had been under pressure from poor polling and what he described as an insurgency by Conservative MPs. Mr. Morrison, the Treasurer, won an internal ballot 45-40 over former Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton, who had been Turnbull's most vocal threat. Mr. Turnbull is the 4th Australian PM in a decade to be ousted internally.
Australians will be just dumbstruck and so appalled by the conduct of the last week. To imagine that a government would be rocked by this sort of disloyalty and deliberate insurgency is the best way to describe it. Disunity is death in Australian politics, as everyone says, and it's perfectly obvious. But the people who chose, Peter Dutton and Tony Abbott and others, who chose to deliberately attack the government from within, They did so because they wanted to bring the government down. They wanted to bring my prime ministership down.
There was a ballot conducted in the party room for the leadership of the Liberal Party. The successful candidate was Scott Morrison, and he won this vote by 45 votes to 40 for Peter Dutton.
Israel said on Thursday a Palestinian gunman killed by its forces on the Gaza Strip border this week was a nurse working for the Médecins Sans Frontières, and that it was seeking an explanation from the international aid group. Israel's liaison office for Gaza named the Palestinian as Hani Majdallawi and said he was shot dead on Monday after shooting and throwing a grenade at soldiers. We have reached out to Doctors Without Borders for clarification regarding the matter, a COGAT spokesman said. The organisation later confirmed in a statement that Majdallawi had been killed but did not elaborate. Gaza has seen an almost 5-month surge in confrontations along the border, where Palestinians have held weekly, sometimes violent mass demonstrations during Israeli army gunfire. Up next is our business reports. We'll take that as soon as we take this break. Welcome back. And in business, new guidelines issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria have made possible borrowing long-term in the manufacturing, agricultural and other growth and employment stimulating sectors, as much as 10 billion naira at consolidated 9% interest rate. The CBN released it on Thursday, titled Guidelines for Accessing Real Sector Support Facility through CRR and Corporate Bonds. According to the acting director at the CBN Corporate Communications Department, the new policy is aimed at increasing the flow of credit to the real sector, agriculture and manufacturing. He said that deposit money banks would henceforth be told to direct affordable long-term bank credit to the aforementioned sectors, and AAA-rated companies would also be encouraged to issue long-term corporate bonds. The world's first blockchain created and managed public bond has attracted $80.48 million investment by 7 investors. The deal, according to James Wall, an executive general manager at the Commonwealth Bank, will help improve decades-old bond sales practice. Investors in the new initiative include the American fund Northern Trust, 3 Australian state governments, local pension fund, First State Super and CBA. World Bank Treasurer Arunma Ote expressed her delight, saying the pioneer bond transaction using the distributed ledger technology, Bond-I, was extremely well received by investors. She was also impressed with the breadth of interest from official institutions as they understood the value of leveraging technology for innovation in capital markets. Still ahead on Plus TV News is our roundup on sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello and welcome to Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. A Burnley fan was stabbed and 4 others were injured before the first leg of their Europa League playoff against Olympiacos in Greece, a game where Burnley lost by 3-1. And the fan needed stitches to a leg wound and received medical attention at the stadium in Piraeus near Athens. About 1,000 Burnley fans traveled to Greece for the game, and 23 were held for being drunk and disorderly. The club said they were working closely with Olympiacos and local police to investigate the incidents. And Burnley, who went into the game unbeaten in the previous 4 qualifying games under manager Sean Dyche, have not been in European competition since 1966 to 67. They beat Turkish side Istanbul Başakşehir and Scottish Premiership runners-up Aberdeen in extra time to set up the tie with Olympiacos. And the second leg takes place on Thursday next week. And in tennis, British #1 Kyle Edmund suffered a setback in his US Open preparations as he was easily beaten by Steve Johnson in the quarterfinals of the Winston-Salem Open. And the third seed, Edmond, fell to a 6-1, 6-2 defeat in 1 hour, 4 minutes. And the victory means that Johnson will go on to face Pablo Carrena Busta or South Korea's Chung Yeon in the semi-final. And for Edmond, he will face Paolo Lorenzi in the first round of the US Open. He was drawn against the Italian earlier on Thursday with the fourth and final Grand Slam of the season starting in New York on Monday. And in transfers, French striker Bafétimbi Gomis has completed his move to Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly from Galatasaray after putting pen to paper on a 3-year deal, reportedly worth up to €7 million. Bafétimbi Gomis signed for Galatasaray in the summer of 2017 from English Championship side Swansea City and went on to score an impressive 29 goals in 33 league games. And the former Lyon and Saint-Etienne star previously scored 16 league goals in 64 Premier League games for the Welsh club, who suffered relegation from the top flight last summer. And for Gomis, he netted on 3 occasions for the new world champions France in 12 appearances and over a 5-year period. And that's it on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I'm Lakme Banjo. Have yourself a great morning.